At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field. I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school. Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Ja'son Manwill.
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you. The pleasure's all mine. I loved going back to the beginning. I always say the beginning kind of charts our trajectory, of where we're going in life. Like, when we're kids, our little habits that we pick up kind of follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And kind of how did you find your way into doing, in music?
Sure. So when I started out, I was 2 pounds, 14 ounces, 3 months premature.
Oh, wow.
I was known as the $1 million baby.
Nice.
and I built a hospital wing with the money that my dad paid over about a year. I was in ICU for about a year.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So after that, you're growing up, when did you kind of like get the love for like music? Was it like you watch a movie? Was it a song you listen to? You're like, yes, I want to do that.
So I was 7 years old, or sorry, it's not seven. I was in 7th grade and I was in choir. And I saw this pianist play The Wind Beneath My Wings for the first time.
Oh.
I was like, man, that's a really cool song. I would love to learn how to play that song, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't think about anything that I was saying. I just said it. And 2 weeks later, I sat down at that piano and played that Wind Beneath My Wings song from start to finish, never touching a piano or taking a lesson at that point.
Whoa. So it was a godsend.
It was amazing because literally, like, I touched that ivory, the black and white keys, and magic took place.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that is like, so you've, like, I know there's some people that are going through life and trying to figure it out. Do you feel like you found your purpose? Like this is your purpose?
Absolutely. Because when I'm on that ivory and I'm playing in front of three people, 300 people, 30,000 people, 3 million people, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters except that ivory and the people, right? So it's like nothing else exists. I don't care what you're doing, what is taking place that day. When I get on those keys, everything changes.
Wow. Like you're taken to another place.
Right, exactly. Like I told people before, I said, the planets exist and the stars exist and nothing else matters.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So growing up, were your parents supportive? Like my parents, luckily, were super much supportive of my career. And, when I told them, I was like, I want to be a filmmaker at such a young age. They're like, oh yeah, we're supporting you. Did you have supportive parents?
My parents were supportive as much as they could be. Like my dad was a meat manager for about 26 years before he retired. My mom was basically a home caregiver helping me because just when they thought they were going to have another child, I actually developed type 1 diabetes.
Oh.
So then added a whole nother thing onto the mix, right? First, I was premature and, 3 months premature and such like that. And then when I'm 7, just when you think that I've gone past that point where I'm good, then the type 1 diabetes develops and I've got that, right? So basically she stayed home and took care of me. As far as being supportive, when I got my first guitar, my grandfather bought my first guitar for me. It was a Hondo, Hondo, and this guitar was special for me because I bought it from a buy and sell center, But what the special part about it was there was an amp which actually had a thing on it that told me if it was in tune. So, you know, when you first start in guitar, and I'm sure that there's artists and people that can understand this. When you first start on guitar, just doing a chord is amazing when you get the chord right. Like it's like oh, it's amazing. But the difference is like I started differently. I was like, everybody else was playing Van Halen Eruption, right? Because that's the song you got to play. And I'm like, I don't want to play that. I want to play AC/DC's Thunderstruck.
Right.
So I started learning that guitar part. And what was interesting about it was, you know, at first I was really slow. At first I could only do like, you know, like these 3 hands and stuff like that. And then pretty soon I was doing the whole 5-6 fret movement of that guitar. And the cool thing about it was when I actually heard the sound of that, then I knew that I was making progress. And they were very supportive in the fact that, you know, I was doing open mics. They were coming to see me. In fact, my mom and dad came to every one of my choir recitals, like any type of thing where I was playing piano, every one of them. They never missed one.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. You know, I feel like it's always good to have supportive parents, like people in your corner that support you, because this business, as you know, is not an easy one, right?
Absolutely. You've got to have support, and you've got to have people that care about you so much that they're willing to say something to stop you from doing something stupid in the business.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about, you know, first of all, Grammy nominated. I mean, congratulations on, you know, as far as American Next Top model hit maker, quarter finalists. Let's talk about that. Like, were you surprised, or you were like, no, this is just what I was aiming for? And you're kind of that person of like, you just, the more you do, it's just gonna happen. Like, were you like surprised about like just having all, like, you know, the success?
Well, what most people don't know is I was actually in 3 contests before this.
Oh, okay.
And in those 3 contests, you know, the first one I got to, I think I got to like the 25th place. The second one, I got to the 10th place. And going into this one, I had a unique strategy because of those 2 contests, right? And the strategy has been paying off, as well as my supporters, the people that vote for me.
Nice.
And anyone that I come into contact with, you know, I'm handing them a thing saying, hey, listen, you can vote for me in this contest, right?
Yeah.
So what's cool about it is that one is we are at the quarterfinals, right? We're like literally we're Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the last day to vote for the quarterfinals, and then we go into the semifinals. And the thing is I've already positioned myself in my mindset that I am winning everything.
You know what? I love that. I love that thought process. You have to already see yourself there. That's so important, because the power of manifestation. If you just go into something and you're like, I don't know, well, you've already, you know,
right,
stopped yourself. So it is
yeah.
Are you a believer of manifestation?
Absolutely. I'm a believer of intention. Like, so like, for example, I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, so I'm a completely different artist than most people. Because one, I've been through hell and back with the brain injury. And 2, because of that, when I had the brain injury, all I could think about is getting on stage again. All I could think about was playing the Super Bowl. All I could think about is these things that were not even possible in my skill set at that time.
Right. Yeah.
Because I had no ability to do that. But what's interesting is all the stuff that I envisioned when that happened, I'm doing now.
Wow. Yes.
So not only with the Grammy nomination, right, which was just an amazing thing in itself, but like being able to actually see yourself back there going, you know what, this is what I envisioned.
I love that. I love that. I'm such a believer in that. I feel like that's just how we should live our lives. Like, you know, yeah, we don't know what tomorrow holds, but if you put that intention out there, you have to trust it. And that's it, right? What God
absolutely
right.
Absolutely true. And also I'm doing production. Like, so for example, I'm taking the necessary actions to make sure that what I do is working. Like, I'm not just like sitting back and going,
Yeah.
like, like I'm calling people, I'm sending emails, I'm doing all these things to make sure that my target is met, my goal is met. And a lot of artists, I don't know if they have targets or not, but one thing that I learned very early on, once I was coming back to life, was you got to have a target in front of you. You got to have a battle plan in front of you.
Yes.
You got to know exactly what you're doing each day so you can actually hit that target. And that's what's helped me to do what I'm doing up to this point, is actually hitting those targets, making those goals. And each step of the way, like that little tiny step going up the stairs, it's helped me to get to this point, along with all the fan base, along with the people that support me, friends and family and such like that.
Absolutely. So I'm curious about the process of that, like, because I know, like, being voted in, that's a whole nother process of itself, getting the people to vote. Can you walk us through that? Like, how do you do it? And like, I mean, I'm sure I've been in a few contests, and it is kind of overwhelming. You have to be on it pretty often.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, my fan base who vote for me are incredible. The Up Late Last Night Nation crew, they're amazing. Wow. And also, I will say this. I will say that there's other people that hear my music and they vote because they know that the music is different from everything else out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So those people are, like they give me gifts all the time. Like, even like, for example, I was in the airport in Minnesota, and all of a sudden this person literally came by my piano. I was playing for like maybe 10 minutes, something like that. Yeah. Came by the piano and handed me a Franklin.
Oh, wow.
And said, thank you for playing like the most beautiful rock music I've ever heard. Right. Yeah. And so stuff like that, where it's appreciated, it's valued. Yeah. And it just keeps coming back because you're pushing the music and the wavelength out there, and they're hearing it, and they're taking action because of it.
Yes, absolutely. And again, your work speaks for itself, right? Like, you build that resume up, so of course that's just the natural progression that you're going to go into. And again, congrats on everything you're doing. I love asking this question. There's no wrong answer, but the 3 levels of influence: money, power, and respect. And if you could choose one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so money, power, and respect.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to go at the way I normally think. So if it's money, right? Money attracts, so attention attracts money, right? So if you get more attention, you've got money. Respect is something that is earned, and something that if you do it well with other people, they're going to give it back to you. So we got money, respect. What's the third one?
Money, power, money, and
power. Okay, so power is an interesting thing because a lot of people have a different definition of power, right? Because you could be a good person and have a power, and you would still be good. But then if you're an evil person and you get power, you're not that good, right? All the shows talk about that. So really, I'm going to say this, which has probably never been said before, but all 3, because you've got to have attention to get money, right? So being in this competition is giving me attention. Press releases, articles, you name it, I'm getting attention. I'm playing live, I'm getting attention. Yeah. So that's the money aspect, right? Because everybody needs money for some reason, right? Then you've got power. Now, power used with the right condition will be okay, no matter what it is. So, like, for example, you get on the you get a Grammy. That's power, because now you have the ability to influence other people with your music, or to get paid a better value than you did before, right? And then you said attention?
Yeah, money, power, and respect.
Respect, yeah. And then respect, if you look at respect, like from just going back to the 1920s and 30s, right? People respected other people. And if you want people to respect you, then you should respect them, no matter what their race, creed, color, I don't care what they are, who they are. Everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves the basic human rights. And respect is one of them, right? So I appreciate it when I'm respected as an artist. And I know that other people are appreciated when they're respected too. So I'm going to say all 3 myself, because it requires those 3 things to actually produce at a level that I'm producing at now. And secondly, to maintain that public relations as well, and have that respect from the public.
I love that. Great answer. A great answer. What's
Thank
your
you.
process like when it comes to making, music and producing? What does it look like?
Great question. So my process is this. So sometimes I'll just be at the piano and I'll just be humming something, right? Or I'll be at the guitar, right? And like my song, just the Grammy nominated rock hit song Despair, right? So like I was at the guitar. So uh, Adam Sandler's The Wedding Singer,
Yeah,
where he was talk have that song about Linda, right? And I
right.
watched that song, and just days before, basically I had got broken up with,
Oh
right?
no.
And I told the story many times in other articles, but basically the mother gave back the ring to me, not the person, the mother did.
Oh,
And the mother gave back the ring to my mother. That's what I didn't tell the other one. Mother gave back the ring to my mother. Didn't even come to me, right? So I'm in that room after watching that song with the wedding singer, where Robbie is literally just it's a dark song. It's a very dark song, right? So I'm in the room, and all of a sudden the song started out completely dark. I'll tell you that right now, because I was in a dark space, right?
yeah.
And what was funny was, at one point I was like, your love just died and you feel all alone. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm like, she stabbed you in the heart and it's not made of stone. And I was like, da 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 da. You just don't understand why she feels the way she does. Da 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 da. Your friends tell you it'll be okay. And then at that point, that's all I had. Right. But
Yeah.
then years later, when that happened to me again, right, and I took that song and turned it into something completely different, that's when that top line melody came in, and that's what creates that verse to the pre-chorus to the chorus effect. So for me, I'm either on the piano writing, I'm on the guitar writing, I could be on the bass writing. There's so many different creative aspects, but sometimes I hear it, and sometimes I just automatically hear the melody and just write it from there.
I love that. I love that. I think artists like there everybody has a different creative process, right? It could be just walking and you can go on a walk and you feel the inspiration right there. I just find it very interesting, the process. So that's cool. Thank you for sharing that. Um,
Absolutely.
you ever felt like, do you want us to throw in the towel and not do this anymore? Like has there been any point in your career like I don't think this is worth it? And what do you do to get out of those moments?
The only time that I ever wanted to throw in the towel is when I was having so many seizures
Mm,
that life was not worth anything. Now, I say that because literally, I didn't throw in the towel. I'm here. But when it comes after that, nothing is bad as far as I'm concerned. Like, not like that. That was hell. Like that was beyond what most people can even imagine or even go through. In fact, most people don't know how I'm alive today after I tell them my story in detail. So after going through that, the music business is nothing. Like it's not the same as far as, because one, I know where I came from. I know what I'm capable of. And two, I know my target. Like, for example, I'm just going to tell you this. I'm just going to put this out there because it's been said already. In 2027, I'm playing the Super Bowl halftime show.
nice. All right, let's
Right.
go.
So that's a target so that means that I can't give up no matter what, because
Absolutely.
I have that target to attain. If I give up in any way, that's going to slow my progress.
Right.
And for me, that question is like, how would I even consider that? Because really, if you're going up steps, right, and all of a sudden you take a step down, you can still go up the next step. And most people, when they take a step down, they go all the way to the bottom of the stairs.
Hmm.
So for me, because of being through what I've been through, there is no option, there is no failure, right? Now, I'm not a perfectionist, not even close, but I get the job done.
Right.
And secondly, when it comes to writing lyrics and collaborating with other artists and such like that, it's the same thing. So there is no like, oh, well, maybe we'll try it. no, we're getting it done. We're doing it. I would rather be a doer and somebody that's known for being able to do something and do it than somebody that just thinks about doing it and never does it.
Right. Absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. 100%. Oh man, this is great. This is good. So it's interesting you said, for me, I feel like in this journey, especially this industry, there's no everybody's journey is different, right? Of course. So something that worked for that person may not work for you. But um I, do you feel like the industry as a whole is changing in favor of the artist? Because I mean, back in the day, right, it was super hard to get your stuff out there, and it was like, it's just, it was hard to get a record deal. And I mean, now you have AI, you can actually essentially do it yourself. Do you feel like the record labels like Sony and all the big companies are in favor of the artist now?
I think a lot changed when Billie Eilish and Phineas came into the picture, because with them, they showed everybody that you can produce in your bedroom and get the same product as a $30,000 studio. Now, I'm not knocking the studios, don't get me wrong, but for the bedroom producers out there, they now have a chance, just like myself, right? Because like I'm creating, mixing, mastering, and maybe I get some help from people here and there, but most of the time it's me, right? I was fortunate to be able to do the Despair Grammy nominated song in 4 days with the help of two friends of mine,
Wow.
Dakota Petrie and Kara James. And Kara James is the one that sings on the chorus, the pink like melody line. And Dakota Petrie helped me play the guitar and such like that, because I had 4 days to do everything, like from start to finish, done. So I'm so fortunate to have that with Despair. And then secondly, when it comes to all the other stuff, I think personally that we are just beginning to see the beginning of the bedroom producers and the rights that they have. So much so long ago with the record labels and such like that, it wasn't about the artist, it was about the label. And now where, for example, I have my own independent record label, I have my own music publishing, so I own 100% of my stuff.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
So I think that
that's actually a thing. No, that's a thing, like a ownership. So I mean, good for you. Honestly, that's amazing.
Right. And here's the thing. So for example, in the future, let's say, because it's important to be independent. Yes, that's true. Right. And there's all different sides to this factor and equation. But let's say, for example, you're like one of the ones that said, okay, well, listen, I have 90% of my song. I'm going to give 10% to this record label so they can help me produce, monitor, and production, marketing, advertising, whatever. But I'm still retaining 90%. So I retain most of it, but they're going to get 10%. Okay. Right. That could be an option in the future if I choose to do that. But the point is, I'm in control. I'm in full control of my career. I'm in full control of the marketing, the promotion, all of that. So no one can tell me, hey, listen, you got to wear pink pants today. Or right. something right. Like that, right? So that's been a cause of concern, right? But the difference is listen, I don't care who you are, it's a business. It's a business. If you're not ready to do the business, then don't do it. But if you're ready to do the business, then you have to do the business as a business. You can't do it as a hobby, because if you're doing it as a business, it has to make money. You have to be able to generate revenue for promotion and marketing. Right. And then secondly, you've got to be willing to go to meetings. You got to be willing to go to sales. You got to be, all this stuff that you see other companies doing, you have to do yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's, you're right. Man, I could talk to you all day. This is really good. This show is like 30 minutes. That's it. It goes by so fast. But
okay,
for those listeners out there that want to get in the music industry and they don't know how to, what would you say? What advice would you give that young boy or that young girl that wants to try this industry?
Well, first off, I'm going to tell you this. The most incredible people that I know right now that are taking the whole music industry and turning it on its head
Mhm.
is mastering.com. And now they did not pay me money to say this. I'm just saying this myself. Mastering.com teaches you first how to master your music. Then they teach you how to mix it, and then they teach you how to create it and produce it. Now, the reason that's different is because before the bedroom producers era, nobody was doing that. So if you're somebody who has something in your head and you know you want to get it out there, mastering.com will help you. And the best part about it is what they just did was they turned a massive package that they had to a monthly price that any musician artist can actually do, even somebody working 9 to 5.
That's great.
So that's one thing. The other thing I'm going to tell you is you have to get educated. You have to know the industry. You have to know the business. You have to know what makes you money and what doesn't make you money.
Yes.
You have to know what you're going to plan and what you're going to do next, how you're going to get your music out there. You have to get educated, because if you're not educated, there are some people, maybe 2% in the industry, they're going to take advantage of you because you don't know the data. Or they're going to say, oh, by the way, we want to do a 360 deal with you.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a no-no.
that's a whole nother podcast.
No matter what.
That's a whole nother
exactly. Right.
Like
exactly.
I've had a lot of friends that were in that kind of deal, and yeah, it's the more you know, right? Like you said, it's the better.
Yeah, and if you actually want to learn the real specific things, right? Because I don't know of any company out there myself right now that's teaching all this, but I can tell you this: if you want just some information, get a hold of me. Go to my website. If it's okay if I say it, Ja'son Manwill.com. Go to my website, send me a note or something, and just ask me, and I will happily send you some information on it. I'm not the expert per se, but I can give you what I know, and then maybe with what I know, you can go further.
Absolutely. Love that. Thank you. So thank you for that advice. That's great advice. I have one question, a bonus question. So when your life is over and you've done all the things, you've won the Grammy, you've on the magazine covers, all the things, you get to heaven, you meet God. What would you want God to say about you and the work you've done?
Well, that's a great question. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
I would say that I was an ethical individual that treated humanity the way that he wanted to be treated, and that gave every person and every opportunity to someone that deserved it.
Yeah, love that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you. Where can people find you on social media to follow everything you have going on?
So social media for TikTok, Ja'son Manwill Official. So Ja'son Manwill Official. And then for Instagram, same thing, Ja'son Manwill Official. On Twitter or X, it's going to be THE and then Ja'son Manwill, the Ja'son Manwill.
Awesome. Pleasure. Thank you so much. It was great chatting with you. You got to come back again, man.
Absolutely. And by the way, just to let you know, so I thank you so much for the podcast, and thank you so much for the interview. I appreciate you as well and what you're doing. Much love and admiration to you and everything you do, because I know putting on a podcast is not a simple thing.
Thank you. Your mouth to God's ears. Thank you. Thank you. And good luck with your I mean, obviously you're gonna kill it. You're gonna win. You've already won it. It's yours, like you said.
Yeah, it's mine.
Exactly. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.